Good afternoon. Once again, my name is Hendrik Makaneta, and we are going to start with our grade 8 mathematics class. I do hope that you are able to hear me. I've been trying to share the screen just to make sure that we have the visible screen. Right. So we are trying once again to share the slides. It's just not an easy thing. I wonder why has it freezed now. I do hope that you managed to write your tests and that most of you have been able to ask me questions, especially for the whole day yesterday. I've answered some of your questions. And to those who couldn't find the test, I was able to refer you to the correct link. And most of you said you did find the test and you were able to do it online. I know that most of you expressed a concern about question 5, which was probably tampered with, and you did not know which answers to select. Nevertheless, we have written the test, and of course, I've answered some of those queries which you have sent. Now, I'm just going to carry on just to demonstrate some of the questions that we really had to answer. And of course, I'm trying to show you here that, as we move forward, I'm just making sure that the slides are working. Right. Without any waste of time, I'm just going to check if, yes, everything is fine now. Great. So we are proceeding now just to the first question. I'm testing here your knowledge of negative numbers. When you multiply a negative number by a negative number, I know that some of you still struggle, to multiply a negative number with a positive number. As Tlantla says there, if you multiply the 8 by 9, and Tlantla says you get 81. Cheryl also says 81. Just be aware there, this is not the same as 9 times 9. I like the fact that you multiplied a negative by a negative to get a positive there. But just check the numbers, because this is 8 times 9 and not 9 times 9. So Cheryl, thank you very much. Cheryl got 72. Welcome, Lizanne. Cheryl got 72. Yes, 72 will be the correct answer for question 1. So in question 1, we have 72 as the correct answer. And then the next one, I see Cheryl also says negative 18 if you multiply a 9 by 2. So 9 times 2 is 18. So, but because the 2 is negative, so you'll definitely get negative 18. So 9 multiplied by 2. If you multiply 9 by 2, you get 18. And because the negative 2 there, because of the negative 2, that's why you have negative 8. And I see Cheryl got negative 4 times, okay, Humulemo, I see. Oh, you're probably talking about the next one. Yes, Humulemo says negative x to the power of 4. Great, Humulemo. Cheryl also says negative x to the power 4. Great, Cheryl, I see that you have managed to now calculate the two. When you multiply two powers with the same base, you add the exponents, and the exponents in this case are 2 and 2. So if you add 2 and 2, you will get 4. And remember, one of the powers there, or rather the power is the entire thing, the base together with the exponent. Negative x squared, for instance, and x squared. So one is negative, the other one is positive. So you have got negative x squared, you also have positive x squared. So when you multiply the two, this is the same as multiplying a negative number with a positive number. So the answer will be negative. Right, and then of course, negative x squared times x squared. Then that gives you negative x to the power of 4. Great. We are moving from that one there to the next one. So basically, this is how you'll proceed with it, just to multiply the two together. Just to remember the test that you wrote. I know that some of you had a concern, especially with question 5. When we get there, you'll be able to see the question 5. I'm sure that you'll be able to see. You'll be able to see there, and then we can take it from there. Right. So we are now proceeding, and then the next one, of course, is just to demonstrate the importance of looking at the rule. Remember that we spoke about the rule, and in this case, we had to find the rule, but also to find the next terms. In this case, we had to find the rule together with the next term. The most important thing here is to demonstrate the importance of finding the rule. If you look at the sequence from 7, 14, 21, 28. So it's 7, and then 14, then 21, then 28. So I see that Cheryl says the rule is +7. Natalie agrees. I think Lisady as well. You add 7. Alternatively, you can be looking at the multiples of 7. So you add 7, or you look at the multiples of 7. Remember that the multiples of 7, then 7 times 1 is 7, and then 7 times 2 gives you 14. 14 times, in fact, 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 3 is 21, and 7 times 4 is 28. So that is what we have. So obviously, to get the next term, you can multiply 7 by 5 to get 35. And then 7 times 6 is 42. 7 times 7 is 49. So Cheryl, I'm sure you will also agree with me that if you don't want to add 7, you might as well use just the multiples of 7 to get to the next term. So it's 7 times 1, 7 times 2, 7 times 3, and so on, just to find the next 3 terms. I hope that it makes sense. Right, and then Humulimo to everyone, how about B? We are there in B, 120, 240 and 360. So Natalie says plus 120, and then Lisedi also says B there, 120. Humulemo also says because it's not 120. Right, Cheryl has given us now the next three terms, and the next three terms according to Cheryl is 480, 600, and then 720. That's what Cheryl says. And then Lesedi got 600. Right, if you can test B, you can tell that Lesedi and Natalie are correct when they say you need to add 120. Khumulimo, I hope that you can also see that because when you add 120 to 120, you get 240. And then if you add 120 again there, you get 360. So obviously, if you add 120 to 360, you definitely get 480. And the next term will be 600 followed by 720. So Cheryl is correct to demonstrate that the three numbers following the sequence are 480, 600, and 720. Oh, I see, Khumulemo. I see, Khumulemo, what you mean. Not a problem. We'll, just before the end, we'll reflect, we'll have time to reflect on the test, how it was, and how did you write, and so on. You should be able to get your results at any time. But I see that some of you say you got your results. I'm not sure if everybody got your results, but I will ensure that you will all get your results before the end of this week. Now, okay, you did, all right. Great, listen, thank you very much. I'm glad. The next one is C, and then of course, you can see in C, Natalie says it's a number multiplied by itself. Great, Natalie, you are correct. A number multiplied by itself, meaning a square number. So that is where a square number comes in, because if you multiply 1 by itself, you will definitely get 1. And then the next term is 2. So if you multiply 2 by 2, you get 4. And then 3 times 3 gives you 9, whereas 4 times 4 gives you 16. So in order to get the next 3 terms, you just have to apply the principle of the square numbers. The next number, of course, will be 5. So 5 squared is the same as 5 times 5, which is 25. And 6 times 6, 36. 7 times 7 is 49. So 49 is the correct answer, the last term. I do hope that everyone is following. Is there anyone with a question up to so far? Just before we carry on. Thank you very much. Right, we are proceeding now just to show that we understood the task at hand, which was now to find a way, to really find a way to do these patterns. And then the next one was question 3, where we had to calculate the perimeter. Can we calculate now the perimeter of a square, where the length of the square is given as 6 centimeters, and thereafter you'll do the area with the same length of 6 centimeters. But for now, I think we must just calculate the perimeter. Remember that the perimeter of any square, you might as well define it as 4 sides, for the mere fact that you just have to add the sides, because there are 4 sides in a square. So if you are given one side, then you should be able to find the perimeter. Right, I see Cheryl, Daniel, Lesedi, and Natalie. They have already calculated the four centimeters. Great. Great. Thank you very much indeed. Because if you take the perimeter there, as we said, and then you multiply it by 4, remember that we are working with centimeters. And of course, this means that your P will rather be 30, not 36, but 24. So it will be 24 centimeters. Remember, 6 times 2 times 2 is 24. So 24 is the perimeter there. And of course, what we also need to do is just to demonstrate that the importance of getting the area. I see some of you have already defined the area. Area is equal to length multiplied by the length. So as you know, that's how you multiply the length by the length. And this is only in the square. Remember that in the rectangle, it will be length times breadth. So in the square, it was length times length, which is 6 times 6. And of course, if you multiply 6 by 6, you get 36. Perfect. The area of a rectangle is equal to the length multiplied by the breadth. And then, of course, the length there is 50 meters. So if the length is 50 meters, then the breadth is 40. So you simply multiply 50 times 40. And of course, 5 times 4 is 20. Therefore, most of you have got 2,000. So you found A to be 2,000 square meters. So the area is given as square meters. And then, of course, that is the solution. Can we now calculate the perimeter of a rectangle with a length of 50 meters and the breadth? Once again, I see Humulemo has found the correct answer, and Cheryl was just doing the area of the rectangle, and I fully agree with you, Cheryl. So Lesedi also got that right, where you were able to show that when it comes to the perimeter, all that you need to do is just to add the sides together. And of course, the sides 40 times 2 is 80. 80 is 180. So 180 will be the correct answer there. 180 is the correct answer. So 180 will be the correct answer. We are now carrying on. And of course, the calculation of the perimeter, that's where it ends. And then of course, you cannot proceed like that without calculating the perimeter. So the perimeter is very clear. The perimeter of the rectangle. So let's zoom now into the next one. Of course, Jane is 38 years old, and you know, she is 10 years older than her brother. Right now, I just want you to write or just to express a formula, you know, which can show or demonstrate the relationship between the age of Jane and that of her brother. just to demonstrate by an algebraic expression. In other words, excuse me, write an equation which has got some symbols. It's up to you which symbol to use. We normally use X. I see, Cheryl, you have now shown that 38 minus 10. Right, Cheryl, I see, all right, Cheryl, Natalie says 38 minus 10 is X. Great. I agree with you there. Cesar also says 38 minus X is 10. Both of you are correct. And then Daniel says Y minus 10 is equal to X. And of course, you have answered B already. Great. So I like the fact that both of you, or in fact, all of you have expressed yourselves in relation to the formula, where you have been able to demonstrate that if you subtract the brother's age from that of Jane, you get 10. For the simple reason, the reason being Jane is 10 years older than a brother. So of course, 38 minus X is equal to 10. That is how you write the first one. But it comes in different forms. You may start with a 10, it's okay, or you may have 38 minus 10 equals X, that's also okay. The main thing is that when we use your formula to calculate the brother's age, it should give us the correct answer. So if you look at the second one is saying, how old will Jane's brother be when Jane turns 60 years? And how are you going to find it? Most of you have now, Cheryl says 60 minus 10 is 50. Right. Cheryl, I agree with you. If Jane is 50 years old, all that you need to do to get the brother's age is to subtract 10. It becomes easier when you have the equation, such as 38 minus X is equal to 10. All right. So 38 is, in this case, is the age of Jane. So if the age now becomes 50, then you are going to minus that. Or if it is 60, then you'll have 60 minus 10, which will give you the brother's age of 50. I do hope that it makes sense. Can we perhaps go to the next one just to demonstrate now how the numbers work in as far as the common factors there, x squared and then minus 2x squared. So we are grouping the like terms. So Ntanhla has already said that you multiply 1 by 2 and then minus x squared. So minus x squared is what Ntanhla got, which I fully agree with. Natalie also agrees. Musa also agrees, and Humulem as well. I see the smile there. X squared minus 2x squared will definitely give you a negative x squared. Remember, we have got the unwritten number here, which is known as the coefficient of x squared, which is 1. And then the coefficient of the next one there is negative 2. So 1 minus 2 will give you negative 1. So that is what you'll have there. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. So negative x squared will be the answer in the second one. I'm talking about the second one. Now in the third one, of course, you also have a squared. Then of course, a squared plus 2b cubed minus 3a minus 2b plus b cubed. So definitely, all that you really need to do, is to add the like terms. Do we have the like terms in this expression? Yes, I can see the like terms. Which are the like terms? Ntanhla also can see the like terms. So I also agree with you, Tlantla. Tlantla says 2b to the power of 3 and b to the power of 3. Great. So all that you need to do in this case is just to add the 2, and then you will be able to find the answer there. So 2b cubed plus b cubed is 3b cubed. So that's how you find it. I think Tlantla has got it right. So 3b cubed. And then the others do not have any like terms. A squared remains as it is. 3a or negative 3a rather, that also remains. Negative 2b also remains. So you definitely are not going to find yourself adding anything other than the ones that we've already added. So the next one, of course, it's the last one that we had. The last one. The last one would be, I see Humlemo's hand is up. Humlemo, do you want to add anything there? Humlemo, do you want to add anything there? Humlemo, did you want to add anything there? Right, we are done with question 4, and then we can just move to the last one, which is question 3. And of course, in fact, the question 5, rather to demonstrate the ability to complete the table by finding the output value, which is y in this case, where you are given the x values. So remember the x values there. And of course, we can just demonstrate. Let's find the y values. Let's find the y values given the x values. Let's find the values there. Right, and of course, just to ensure that the first one, the x value there is -3. I see Cheryl has got -4. Mkon in -11. Cheryl -2. And then Daniel says y squared will be equal to 4. And then Cheryl to everyone. And of course, 1 and -2. Can we just demonstrate the importance of making sure that we use -3. So if x is -3, if x is equal to -3, then y will be equal to -3 squared. So basically you'll have -3 multiplied by -3. So that is what you will have. And then you'll have -2. So Cesar, I can see that you did some of those. In fact, Cheryl is the one who did 1, -2, 0, 2, and 4. You have done them all. Right. So I've started with -3 just to show that you multiply -3 by -3 to get +9. 9 minus 2 is 7. So it means if x is -3, then y will be equal to 7. So basically that's what we have. Y is equal to 7. Y is equal to 7. So right, let's see. Let's see y is equal to 7. The second one, and then if x is -2, then again you can be able to check that you simply put -2 and then all squared. -2 times -2 is +4, and then 4 minus 2 is 2. So -2 times -2 is 4, and then 4 minus 2 is 2. And then the next one is -1. So if x is -1, and of course, if x is 0 there as well. Right, of course, -1 times -1 is +1, and 1 minus 2 is negative. 1 minus 2 is -1. So obviously, if x is -1, then y will also be -1. So I see, Daniel, you are saying that y will be 2. Okay, for number 3. Okay, so you're saying if x is 2, then y will also be 2. Yes, I fully agree with you, Daniel. You also said if x is 3, and then y will be -1. I don't agree with you there on the 3, unless, of course, if you are talking about -1. Or you are saying number 3, yes. If x is -1, yes, y will be -1 as well. So they will be the same. Right. I see Lizanne says, I don't understand. Okay, let me explain, say my corrections, for it showed that there were no answers. Yes, Lizanne, not just for you. I think that when that, then we could not be able to, and sorry about that. When the test was in the mode, we could not be able to demonstrate the importance of ensuring that you are able to choose the correct answers based on what is given. I know that the majority of you struggled with question 5. You probably lost marks for something that is not your fault. I will be talking to the HOD about this, and I believe that everyone of you who couldn't do question 5, maybe we need to find a way to talk about that, maybe credit you some marks if we can, because the fault was not on your side. It was not your fault. I fully agree. So now I'm just gonna demonstrate just to demonstrate. The next one there, which is 1. So if x is 1, obviously you'll have 1 squared, which is 1. And of course, 1 minus 2 is negative 1. All right. I hope that it makes sense. And then, of course, the next one is 2. And then, of course, if x is 2, 2 squared is 4, just as Daniel showed. I know that it's a huge loss, LSAD. It was not my intention. Like I said, the test was fine when it went to the person who had to put it online. But now it appears as if there was probably an error. But please note that a lot of work went into this. We must appreciate the work that went into putting this whole question paper online, and the team that was involved. It was quite a huge task, which I really appreciate. I would not have been able to do it alone. Hence, I really appreciate the effort of everybody who was involved. Just like now we have a class, we have our host. So this is a collaboration. It's a collaborative effort to make sure that education proceeds. We will talk about that question 5 SM when we proceed. And of course, that is that. Can we proceed now just to do the last one? Lizanne is asking whether the test can be made available. We can find a way just to make it available. And of course, the HOD will do that, and then we can make them available to you. If you want, if you are referring to this test, yes, I can give it to you, Lizanne. I can, if you have an email address, or I can just send you via WhatsApp or email is fine. You can just indicate which method of communication do you prefer. Right, and that goes for everybody. You can use it at any time just to practice and so on and so forth. Right, basically this is what we had to work with. And of course, I hope that we are probably going to have more tests in the future, which we really appreciate. And to this extent, I think that today I will just end it here because we were just doing just revising the test that we had. If you can send me any message, maybe you can send a WhatsApp message, and then I can be able to forward you the test. So the number is there on the screen. Let me just put it once again for everybody to see. I'm just going to put the number where you can just WhatsApp if you are looking for this test, and then I can send it to you. So that is the number. But most of you have the number because I gave it to you yesterday. Let me ensure that I also forward you the test. Digital School in partnership with the Sasol Foundation. Until we meet again tomorrow, thank you very much indeed. Thank you.